Hey, everybody. So today I'm going to talk about trust. And the reason that we're talking about trust is because I had this very long conversation with our new intern who saw this note. That first of all, you can just tell how raggedy this note is. How raggedy this note is. But basically, it's a note that I have on my desk that says, "You can trust life." And she was like, "What, why is that note there?" And I said, "Because I have to remind myself. I have to remind myself that I'm on the right journey, that things are okay, that even though there's all this chaos out here, that I'm okay. And the more that I focus on peace within, it's easier for me to trust all of the things that are happening on my way through." And so we had this really long conversation around trust. And I said, I think people really underestimate how important trust is, because trust has just all of these expectations. You could spend, right. I've dedicated my last 26 years to just one word, and that's prosperity. That's why, right? That's why we always talk about prosperity, and that's about building that mindset. But when you are talking about prosperity, you have to really have some trust that your life is in the right place. And a lot of times when I'm talking to people that are I'm mentoring, that I have 33 mentoring positions in a year. And those are people that I mentor regularly. And one of the reasons it's easy for me to mentor is because I have trust, that I trust that they're going to find their way, that you're going to find your way forward. And that ability to trust something gives me a satisfaction. So if they make a wrong turn, because sometimes people make really, really dumb choices. Uh, mm, mm, mm. Sometimes I make really dumb choices, but I have to trust the fact that I'm smart enough to have discernment. I have intellect. You have intellect. So you might want to trust it. You might want to trust your intuition. You may want to bring faith into the conversation. Sometimes trusting something is admitting to it, that I can trust that I'm not keeping a lie from myself. I can trust that I'm not masking. I can trust that, right, there's certitude in that. So when you're thinking about trust, I want you to think about all the different versions of trust. And sometimes I need assurances. So a lot of times when I have new staff, and we had this conversation about this note, and I said, this is why I always ask you for assurances. So at the end of the day, every single one of our people are sending me a note. And I said, I just need an assurance. I'm not micromanaging everybody, but I need an assurance. And that assurance that you actually got these tasks done, it does I if you don't get them all done, that's totally fine, but I need to know what the assurances are. These are on track. This is what's happening. So sometimes when we are feeling really anxiety, it's because we haven't built enough trust in the system. And that might be that there's not enough assurances. There's not enough acceptance of what is something's taking, right? I can't trust the finish if I can't accept the fact that I'm a lot slower at it. And when you are a high achiever, you want that traction that trust gives you. You want to have confidence in what you're doing. You want to have kind of a guarantee that the dream that you have is coming. And that piece is that you have to trust in something greater. And sometimes that's something that's greater is that I'll trust the resources I picked will send me a reminder, or that I'll trust the people I hired are good, or I'll trust that my friends are actually pretty wonderful. I trust that right? I have to have a confidence in there. It doesn't always mean that I have a dependence on something, but I have to have a confidence to it. And sometimes people are clinging to something that really isn't helping them. And trust isn't just like, oh, I'm so positive. People love to kind of mix up gratitude and trust, and I please don't. But trust is one of those things where you want that belief in it, you want that commitment, you want that influence, you want that authority, right? That I have to have authority in my own life, that my own dreams are the right answer, that I have to build trust in the why. So when you're doing prosperity mindset and you're looking at trust, sometimes it's that I'm taking charge. Sometimes it's that I am comfortable with being the custodian of my own dreams. And so when you have people that are in class and you can see that they haven't even trusted their own path. They don't trust that they're on the right path. Well, it's hard to have confidence in something that you don't trust. So when you're starting to see things, and the way that I explain it in class is resistance, right? That something will come up as a little bitty roadblock. And I go, okay, resistance 100% of the time is a time to knock on that door. Knock, 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 knock. Hey, you. Hey, knock, knock, knock. Why is this bugging me? Right? Why don't I want to go to my cousin's house for dinner? Well, because, right? Knock, 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 knock. When I feel that resistance, this is also a time that there's something going on. And the reality is a lot of times it goes back to trust. So why don't I want to go to my cousin's house? Well, because she's got 5 kids that are crazy, and they are all dysregulated. They're all over the place. They are, all of their needs are unmet. So I don't actually trust that I'm going to have a good time, because everyone's in chaos, and that's not the good time I'm looking for. So as soon as I could go okay with that, I could go, hey, it's always chaotic at your house. Is there, and it's so hard to watch you suffer, because I watch her as a parent just suffer from these kids all over chaos because she doesn't have control over it. And so I'll say, like, hey, that I'm coming, can we have something that will help us all calm down and enjoy the time? Or I'll bring something of interest so I can get everybody actually to the table, because they're everywhere. They talk back. I mean, it's just so hard. And so I I have this hesitation about going there. But as soon as I got that, I love these people. I love these people, but they're crazy. And if I can understand what I need out of that situation, it's easier for me to opt in. And if I am confident enough of what my needs are, I can ask for them to be helpful. And one of the things that came out of that conversation was, she was like, yeah, I feel so bad about it. So just ignoring it wasn't really working either. So I had to have that confidence. And sometimes trust is management. It is that she needed management of that, and she needed support from someone else who's watching her struggle, that she wants to have that relationship too, and she wants me to be around her kids, and I want to be around them, but they are chaos. So sometimes the commitment and the responsibility that I have in my trusting my own skills can help her. And it's not coming in a judging way to be like, man, your kids are crazy. It is to go, this is the influence it's having on me. And I just want to bring it up because I want to be there. I want to be in relationship with you, and I want to love all these kids, but they are crazy. So is there a way that I can come in with some supports that'll help us all sit down to dinner, and all sit down to dinner? And here's what we came up with, because you all know that I love 3x5 cards, right? So this is what I did is I just wrote something on each kid's item, and it was just something, right, that I had a special note for them. That's it. That's it. I just took 3 minutes and wrote something that I loved about them. And and then I just got some stickers and some stuff. So when it came time for us to sit down to dinner, first of all, when I came in, I said, "Hey, um, definitely go play and do all your stuff because I need a minute to work on my secret." And they all go, "What? You have a secret?" "I have a secret, and I'm going to put it under everybody's uh, plate. So when we call you for dinner, you can get your secret." And they're all like, "Okay, can we do it now?" "No, no, no, it's in my bag." Um, and they're like, "Okay, great." And it wasn't a big deal. It was not a big deal. But when we called everybody for dinner, they're all like, "Yay!" It was so easy. And my cousin is like, "I love you so much for that." And one of the things that it did for me is that it gave me a chance to really write down something that I just loved about them. And so I just wrote them a note, and now they had a physical thing. And one of the kids just looked at me, she goes, "I am keeping this." And it's, "Well, I wrote it for you. I wrote it for you. I wrote it for you." And she's like, "I am keeping this." And it was a way also, again, to use words, that words are also part of trust, that sometimes words are an incantation. Sometimes we need more opportunities to speak love over somebody's life, and that is influence. And influence and commitment is part of trust. So when you're thinking about trust, you don't always have to think about the gatekeeper of I've got to keep all these things out, or I can't trust these people, or whatever, but to really think about trust in a more expansive way, to understand that there are lots of things around trust. Resistance is a conversation to have around trust. And the minute that I could trust my ability, right? I'm feeling the resistance. Knock, knock, knock. Let me look at that door. Why am I avoiding or trying to kind of count down the clock of going to my cousin, who I love? I love those kids. That she is not a bad parent. She is outnumbered. She is outnumbered. And those kids are all full of energy. They all have stuff to go. They're all going in a million directions. And she is doing it on her own. So if I could just take a little confidence in my ability to be of use, to be willing to commit to my why. And my why was, I love those kids. I want them to know their aunt. I want them to have this opportunity. So I had to take guardianship of my own desires. I had to take charge, but I also had to take a minute to say, this is an important moment and I have to safekeep it. I wanted to have this time. And you know what? When they just were like, "I am keeping this," I'm like, "That is yours." And so now we've done this a few times. And because I go there about once a quarter, and we've done it a few times, and they're like, "Okay." And then now I order some stickers and some other things. So just something flat. It wasn't a lot, but it was just it, and it's not necessarily mothering, but it is a form of governance. It is loving dominion, right? How do I keep my right? All dominion is the things that you can take care of, and trust is part of loving dominion. So how can I put in a provision of care? How can I not just be charming and delightful, right? I'm a fun aunt. And everybody calls me auntie, but they're my, I don't know what that would be, your cousin's kids, whatever. So that I could put in a provision of care, that I want to spend time with you and your family, and I want to care for them in a way that allows us to build a relationship that's more powerful. And what also ended up happening, and every time, is they're like, "What does your card say?" And sometimes it's really private. Sometimes if I put something that this is your secret, that they're like, "Nope, mine's a secret. It's a secret for me. I don't have to share it with everyone." And I don't ask them to have to share. They don't have to tell their brothers and sisters why I love them, or what I think is cool about them, or whatever. But sometimes it is that it's teaching them to learn to love themselves and to trust in that process. It's a timeless piece of support. When she hangs this up on her thing, she actually, so the child that went, I am keeping this. She posts them in her closet door. She like tapes them up in her closet door. So it's now the thing that again, resistance and trust and on your path. It's okay. It's okay to have things that feel really wonky and for you to step back and go, oh, I want this to be different. I want this to be different. I don't want to always feel this liability of opting in. I want to have it have a little more governance and oversight. And that single parent can't do it. So when you're thinking about trust for yourself, for your life, and for my intern, that you want to really look at trust because it's a magical thing. And it is a magical thing that will allow you to move forward in all the aspects of your life. And it, I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing. So that's today. I hope I get to see you soon. I trust that if you have something to add, please put it down there. And I will see you soon. Every time that you take a minute for you and I to be together, make no mistake, it's meaningful. I see you, I believe in you, and I trust you. Have a good day.